What's going on, everybody, and welcome on in to episode 287 of the Garage Beers podcast, brought to you proudly here on the OBR streaming network. The Orange and Brown Report is the oldest and largest independent Browns coverage site in all of Cleveland. And then on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m., you get to come hang out with us here on Garage Beers and talk all things Browns, which, we'll get to for a little bit tonight. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're here for just Browns talk, we're not doing all that tonight. We got a lot to get to. The Browns have gimped their way into the bye week. We got a lot of other stuff to get to. We're going to talk about this incredible World Series. We're going to talk about a pretty good little streak the Columbus Blue Jackets are on. We're going to talk about, we'll talk about the first week of the Cavs season, even though they're getting mauled tonight. And we have got our there's another Blue Jackets goal, by the way. Cole Sillinger is second of the night. And we will talk about college football. I'm so excited for this. This is going to be a heavy college football episode with our special guest, friend of the show and former Buckeye, current host of the BLEAV in Buckeyes Show with another friend of the show, Chimdi Chekwa. It's Bryant Browning coming in. So we got a lot of big stuff. We're going to have a lot of a good time. I don't know if I'm saying that even right, but we're going to have a great time. Here on Garage Beers tonight. I did put the QR code up here.
I was going to ask.
Right above my head.
Ask.
If you scan that QR code with your fancy telephonos, that will take you to the subscription page for the OBR. So if you want to subscribe and you're not subscribed to the OBR, that's the place to subscribe to the OBR to become a part of this community. And you should totally do that because it is great. With you as always, I am your host, Michael Keefe. Joining me, my co-host over on the east side of Cleveland, still able to sit outside late October, getting ready for Halloween. It's Chad Meyer. What's up, Chad?
I ain't giving up on the porch yet. All right.
Hell no.
As long as I can be out here comfortably in sweats, I'm going to be out here. All right. All right. That's dedication. That's how much dedication I have to the podcast. Okay. Some other people, right, in this town could take note of dedication and commitment. You know who you are, Browns. But yeah, look at me on the porch, my guys. A beautiful night. Beautiful night. I'm so excited.
Find me somebody more dedicated to losing games than the Cleveland Browns, Chad. Find me somebody more dedicated.
Well, they got to rethink their dedication as well, too. They got to reverse that dedication. Let's do a reverse dedication, right, to maybe switch that around to winning games. Maybe not in our lifetime because it's probably not going to happen, but I would like for my kids to see a winning football team. That'd be great.
These dudes are 100% dedicated to keeping the L in Cleveland, buddy. 100% dedicated.
Damn it.
No. We're gonna have to find a way to get an L into Brook Park. Right now, there's no L in Brook Park.
The Browns should be not allowed, like, they'll build a Brown-specific dome, but they shouldn't be allowed to go play in it until they start winning.
They should build the dome, but then the first game that they can have there has to be their first home playoff game. No game can be played at the dome until there's a home playoff game.
Yeah, it can be used for whatever else you want. Go, come on. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
The rest of their games have to be played at Byers in Parma. Byers Field in Parma. That's what they have to play.
And then Valley Forge in Normandy and I think those are the only two Parma high schools left get to play their home games in the dome.
That's fair. And and Valley Forge, but if they don't play at the dome and they're all going to share Byers, Valley Forge and Normandy get first say at when games happen. They get priority.
Yeah, people will rather pay $200 to go see Padua take on Benedictine.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, God. I hate my football team, and I love them at the same time. It's great.
I hate them so much.
It's a great place to be.
Oh, is it?
No, it's terrible, but we're here. No more Parma High, Philip. Philip wants to remind me of Parma High, but what Parma High?
That's what I said.
Parma High is gone. Zero more Parma High.
Bye.
Or if there is, I don't think there is a Parma High anymore, is there?
Nope. They got rid of it.
Went down to Valley Forge and Normandy. Those are the two Parma Highs.
That's it. And Padua, if you want to go private. Parma private.
That's not part of Parma.
Parma private. Yes.
Parma schools.
Right.
Anyways, so like I said, if you're here for Browns talk, we will get to some in a little bit as they had another opportunity on this season to kind of make a statement and say, hey, listen, it was a tough start to the beginning of the year, but we're anticipating a bounce back. and we've got a soft part of the schedule coming up, and we have a chance to go make a statement against a team that's had a good start of their year, and instead they dribbled down their legs for the whole entire game, for 60 minutes of football, and they got their doors blown off by New England, and that kind of solidifies where we're at. So we'll get to them, but we got a lot of other fun stuff to get to in the meantime. And again, as soon as we see Bryant jump in here, we're going to kick things off with our special guest, and we're going to talk a lot about the Buckeyes. You know, most teams, now the Buckeyes have 5 games remaining. Some teams have only 4. Some teams only have 4 games remaining, but we're rapidly approaching the end of college football season as things are starting to take shape as far as what the conference championships are going to look like. Things are starting to take shape as to what the college football playoff is potentially going to look like. And we're going to talk about all of it with our guest. And I'm excited. In the meantime, though, Chad, high school football remains on a roll here in Cleveland. As we're officially in playoff. I'm going to give like an early cheers of the week. I planned on doing this while we want to wait for Brian to get here before we really dive into the college football conversation. But I do want to give an early cheers of the week. We're through 10 weeks of high school football. If you're not familiar and you're like, why are these guys talking about high school football? Chad and I broadcast high school football games in the Cleveland area every Friday night. Neither one of us are going to be doing a game this Friday night because they happens to fall on Halloween. And I got to take these kids trick-or-treating because I got to make sure they get the right candy for Dad that night.
Yeah.
That's about me. That's all about me.
Dad knows all the full-size candy bar houses. You go to those first. All right. Then you go to the coins because you got to collect the money. All right. And then you can go with the basic bitch mini candies, whatever,
So my wife pulled a move behind my back. I want to know, do you ever watch the podcast that do the Am I the Asshole?
No.
I'm going to do an Am I the Asshole?
Okay.
So I need you to tell me if I'm the asshole here. My wife, or maybe
yes.
It's my wife. Is my wife the asshole?
Oh,
is my beautiful, amazing wife, Katie, the asshole? We're going to ask this question.
Okay.
She pulled a move behind my back.
Oh.
And she decided that instead of giving out candy this Halloween, she's going to give out like toys, like little toys, like the probably buy. Like that. You want to know honestly,
like Happy Meal toys?
Yeah, you want to know, like, you ever go into a Target and there's that first section of Target right when you first walk in?
The dollar toys?
Yeah. That kind of stuff.
Okay.
So there's just an enormous bin of that stuff sitting upstairs because she's like, we don't need to give out candy every year. Let's give out some toys. Let's, something maybe the kids can play with. And I'm vehemently against it. So I went to the store and I'm hiding it from her right now. Just a giant bag of candy. A gigantic bag of candy. And I got to know who's the asshole in this situation. Is it my wife for not giving out candy to the kids on Halloween and giving out like the front of Target store toys? Or is it me for going behind her back and getting the candy? Because we got to give out candy on Halloween. What are we doing here?
Listen, I think I need to know what's in this bucket, right? Because in the Target that I go to, that front dollar toy section is usually like bookmarks, like erasers. Because if those are the things she's giving away, total asshole move.
I think she bought a lot of like light up stuff.
Okay,
like, like light up bracelets and necklaces and things that the kids can play with while they're walking around at night. I don't know, things that I feel like little kids will be like, oh, this is cool. It's stuff they can wear, necklaces and light up stuff and all that.
Okay.
But hey, listen, I'm sitting here in my head and I'm thinking, ma'am, because that's how I have to talk to my wife because she's the boss, ma'am. When they get home, they need to jump into that like pillow sack full of candy like I did when I was a kid, and they need to get sugared up. It's a Friday night. They need to be sugared up until about midnight. It's Friday night. This needs to be the ultimate sugared up Halloween, right? Like, am I wrong here?
No, sugared. You need to be boozed and sugared.
Well,
and yeah,
it's not going to be a problem.
It's just going to be a wild night. It's going to be a wild night, right? Not to mention Halloween. Coming to this side of town, Halloween is my wife's birthday. So we're getting, yes. And it being a Friday night this year, woohoo! Yeah, it's going to get crazy.
Kids are going to go out trick-or-treating from like 6 to 6:15, and then Chad's going to be like, all right, get in bed.
That's it. Bye.
Get in bed. Night's over for you.
Bye. I'm going to need to make my bourbon and Cokes.
Well, listen, It's going to be fun. Halloween will be a good time. We'll probably throw in some more references. Again, as we get a little bit later in the show here on episode 287, we'll dive into the Browns reluctantly. We'll talk a little bit about the Cavs, the Blue Jackets, and so much more. But I see our special guest is in the house, and this is one of my favorite guys that we have on because he's just awesome. When you talk to him, he is so knowledgeable. Obviously, his background as an Ohio State football offensive lineman for the Buckeyes carries with him now to his broadcasting career with also former Ohio State Buckeyes football player Chimdi Chekwa. And this guy and Chimdi do a great job on the BLEAV in Buckeyes show that I feel like every time I see it, like I obviously see it on my phone and stuff because I always feel like I'm going to see it on social media, but it's always when I'm at like a bar or a restaurant, I look up and I see our special guest face. It is on everywhere. And if you're watching that show, you know you're getting the best info, and he's bringing it to us tonight. We're going to bring him in right now. It's our buddy, Bryant Browning. Bryant, welcome back into the garage, buddy.
Mike, Chad, thanks for having me on. I'm glad to be here. I'm listening to the story about candy and lights. I got small kids, Mike, so my kids will love those lights. Like you say, the older kids, they need candy. They want candy.
Yes. I mean, the toys could be cool, right? But it just depends on what toys you got.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, you throw toys in my bag as a kid, and I'm
throwing it right back in your face. I think that's probably what I'm doing.
No, you gotta be nice. My light up kid toys, yeah, they'll love it. They'll love it.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, Brian, what are you doing now, man? Like, I saw that you guys are out of the barbecue business. Like, did BLEAV just give you guys like a 5-year, multi-million-dollar deal?
Yeah.
Like, is that all you're doing now?
Oh yeah, that's it. That's it. I just I bought a new house in Florida.
Let's go.
I got a house, somewhere to go skiing up in Denver. No,
that's my Thursday house.
No, but yeah, I'm in the restaurant business. But me and some Chim, another friend, we got another company we started. It's called Built Connections. It's in the works. So once it get a little bit bigger, I come back on. We kind of dive all the way into it. But essentially, it's a concept where we're kind of looking at NIL in a different matter. We're trying to pair up student athletes with small business and try to get them equity and try to get them to kind of learn a little bit more about the business world and also make that kind of like a marketing deal for those small business and wherever they're selling, whatever product they're in. So it's a bunch of different layers to it. But that's a quick gist of it. But it also worked, man. I got a job too. So,
This is a working man, just a working man
thing. Right.
Yeah.
Now is that for college players or college and high school? Because since they just passed it in Ohio now, right?
Yeah. So our primary focus is going to be probably college.
Okay.
Just kind of pairing, taking that education to the next level, right? I think we all went to college, right? So you know how you learn certain things, but you got to kind of do some interns to kind of get that real life experience. So you just want to kind of, throw a little bit more into it, get you into a business, get you paired up and kind of get your feet running. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you kind of start learning some of those things right now while you're on the collegiate level. And then you can apply that to your business or take a piece of that business. You stay there, maybe set yourself up for your own job for a company you partially own. So it's kind of bunch of different plays to it, but that's the mindset, the gist of it. So.
Hell yeah. That's very cool. And we will definitely look forward to having you back on to learn more about that. So, Brian, question for you, because we didn't do it to start, because we wanted to wait for you. We didn't want to be impolite. I didn't even ask you before you came on. Did you grab a beverage to bring with you tonight or no?
I did. I know the name of the podcast, but me always end up with a bourbon. So it's a little Buffalo Trace this evening.
Let's go.
The bottle's almost in, but this is the cup. So yeah, I did partake.
You always do, and I feel like I assumed, but then I was like, oh shoot, well maybe he didn't. So I'm glad we waited. We waited for our garage beers of the week just to have you on, and you're kicking things off with a little Buffalo Trace bourbon, and you cannot go wrong with that. So shout out
it's
to
a classic.
Yeah, shout out to you for that. Chad, what about you? What's in your glass there tonight or your bottle?
Well, Mike, you're gonna love this. I got a couple of whole hogs.
Oh, it's one of the best.
Sticking with the pumpkin ales. Fall. I'm a huge seasonal guy when it comes to beer. So, it's still fall, so it's still pumpkin season for me. Whole hog pumpkin ale. Let's go.
Hell yes. I'm going to join you on it, Chad. We were down in Columbus on Saturday, and we went and had lunch at Columbus Brewing Company, which was great. Just a good time over there. Had a good meal. and they've got their pumpkin ale over there, and it might be my favorite. It might be my favorite one, and I love whole hog, but this might be my favorite. This is Cauldron's Curse from Columbus Brewing. And this is awesome. I don't know if you ever see it anywhere. I've never seen it in a store. I don't know if they just sell it there. So if you're not in Columbus, then it's going to be tough for you to get. But I grabbed a 6-pack and I brought it home because it was so delicious, and that's what I'm drinking tonight. So in the comments, I already see Gregory got some ice cold Jameson and Keystones, just classing up the joint. That's what I'm talking about. Gregory, shout out to you. If you got your drinks, put it in the comments. We'll flash them up here. But guys, cheers to you guys. Those are our garage beers of the week. And now let's dive in. Let's dive into the Ohio State Buckeyes. And Brian, I want to start with something. Maybe like a very early cheers of the week, because we always end our show with a cheers of the week. You're an Ohio State alumni. You're an Ohio State former offensive lineman. And I don't know if you guys knew each other well. I don't know what your connection was, but obviously the Ohio State family took a pretty tough loss this week in also former Ohio State offensive lineman Nick Mangold. Word broke that he passed. And again, if you were following the saga, he had been battling some health issues. But I felt like it was just a couple weeks ago that he put out a post asking the Buckeyes family, the Jets family, for anybody that'd be willing to donate a kidney. And in the end, it ultimately wound up being too late. And I don't know about you guys. I imagine you for sure, Brian. Just a total gut punch. Not a guy you played with. Obviously, he was out of there before you got there. But I would imagine as an Ohio State offensive lineman, a guy like Nick Mangold, who had pretty tremendous pride in being a Buckeye. He loved being a Buckeye. I'd imagine he showed his face every once in a while to you guys while you were there. So I don't know if you have any stories about Nick, if you got to know him at all, but just talk about what that guy means. And maybe I just want to give a little tribute to that guy, because I feel like he meant a lot to Ohio State and the Ohio State Buckeye football program.
Definitely, Mike, you hit on the head. When I was there as a young offensive lineman, when I got to school, I want to say, I think I just missed him by a year. I think when I came in his first year going on to the NFL, but Nick was the bar, right? He was a bar that essentially that you almost could not get to. No one could, because that's how good Nick was. He's almost he's a legend in the stories you hear, how he kind of went out on one-on-ones and dominated, and how he never lost. And if someone did happen to get an edge, get a corner on him, he called them right back up, and then he'll shut him down right at the line of scrimmage. And he did that from the center position, which is, if you know anything about football and linemen and one-on-ones, you're at a disadvantage, right? The defense has three-way go. It's a drill that they can look very well in. So if you got a guy that wins all the time as an offensive lineman, already you check that box. Like, man, this guy might be special. But his leadership, what he brought to the team, obviously the years that his at Ohio State was tremendous. What he did in the NFL, fantastic career there as well. Definitely hurt to kind of see that message come out. One, like you say, asking for help, asking for assistance. And you could just kind of, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know Nick very well, but I would say you could see there that, it was a prideful act, right? Asking for someone for Oregon. And then obviously how short we kind of get the news that essentially he obviously didn't receive, and he ended up passing from there. So it's just it kind of hits on the chin a little bit. My son, obviously you guys wouldn't know this, but my son, he's an organ. He received the organ. He received the heart when he was 6 months years old. So I kind of understand what it's like being on a transplant list a little bit, and kind of being gracious enough for someone to kind of make that donation to yourself, to your family in that matter. So obviously, it didn't work out for Nick, but us Buckeye Nation, that kind of hit us really hard to see a guy like that go, obviously, way too soon. But we love him, and he will be missed for sure.
Oh man, like that's I can't even imagine just the anxiety of that, Brian. Like for your son, I mean, in Nick's case, it's just a waiting game, right? Just waiting for that call. That's got to be so like I would lose sleep. I don't, man. That is crazy.
Yeah. It's a tough situation. Obviously, a tough situation, and for the people, if you make it to the other side, you're very gracious, you're very thankful. If I'm religious, so a man of God, so you pats on the back, faithful, and things of that nature. Sometimes obviously it just don't work out, right? The time of the things just doesn't fit, and obviously this is a situation where that happened. So you just kind of feel for his family, for his wife, his kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone who known Nick. how fantastic of a person he was, how fantastic of a football player he was. Like I say, it's sometimes you lose the great ones too early, and that's definitely the case here.
Yeah, and about as good of a compliment as I can pay him as a guy that never met him or came close in my life. But obviously, as an Ohio State guy and somebody that's watched Nick Mangold play football, but also just watched the kind of guy that he appeared to be out there and who he seemed to be in real life. He seemed to be kind of a genuine person, whether he was on camera and on the field or with his family or whatever. But I was thinking about this before. He makes the list of guys that would have been on our list to have a beer with, basically. Like Nick Mangold was one of those guys that would have been on the list for that. And just like you said, just a tough thing. So I just didn't know if there was any connection. Obviously, the Ohio State offensive lineman connection runs deep with a lot of you guys and a lot of you guys that have been just absolute legends there at Ohio State. So I just wanted to pay him a tribute because I couldn't think of maybe a more fitting person to do it with than another Ohio State offensive lineman. So shout out to Nick Mangold and his family, and obviously he will very much be missed. Bryant, so let's move in to actual football conversation now. Let's start with the Buckeyes, because I want to talk about the Buckeyes with you, but I do want to just get some of your impression on what's going on with college football too. But let's talk about the Buckeyes. 7-0 coming off a bye week, that like mid-season bye. Time to get ready for the rest of this year, and their schedule, especially with the goings on at Penn State, kind of looked like this would start to become a one tough game, at least here. It doesn't look like it anymore. Penn State in shambles right now. So this is the Buckeyes schedule. Home against Penn State this week. Then they go to Purdue. Back-to-back home games against UCLA and Rutgers. Those 4 games are unbelievable, just for the Buckeyes as far as they better not screw up in one of those 4 games. And then obviously you're looking at the big game at the end on the road in the big house up north there in that state up there. So Brian, just kind of talk about the way the Buckeyes have looked to you this year. Again, coming off, I think you always worry about a team coming off a national championship. You worry about a little bit of a hangover of yes, we did it. Now, how are we going to start the next year? They kind of answered that really strong against Texas to start the year. And then obviously the concern was, well, now you also have lost so many good players, because when you win a national championship in college, that means a lot of your good players are gone. Right. And they have overcome it. So just talk about what you see with the Buckeyes this year and maybe compare it to what you saw out of them last year and where you see them, stacking up.
Yeah, I just feel like so far this year, it's just been very impressive, right? When you just starting with our defense, obviously we lose Jim Knowles, and when the news hit, I was like, man, that's a big loss. Like, how are we going to place this guy? We essentially, I don't know stat wise or not, but we're essentially number 1 defense in the nation. Like, how are we going to place this guy? And we go get Matt Patricia. And then obviously we know how the defense now. Defense feels like we're even better than we were last year. Stat-wise, we definitely are better than we are last year. So I just feel like overall, it's been a very impressive run so far to get to 7-0. Obviously, we're going in here, getting into November, where you have to be clean. You want to be undefeated. With the playoffs, you get a little wiggle room, but you still want to, have your team develop, learn some things, and you kind of want to be able to show it here in November. So far, I'd just say very impressive run. I think Coach Day has been proven that he is a good coach, and it's kind of continued to ring that bell that he's a very special guy that we have here running our program. The way he kind of took a team that I feel like last year's team was kind of, you asked me to compare, it was almost expected, right? We had a lot of good guys back. Mm-hmm. We had Will Howard, who was a very experienced quarterback. We had 2 very special running backs. Once the season went how it went, we lose to Oregon on a very close game. We obviously lose to Michigan, but, we're in the playoffs, so we get the playoff run. And once we got to the playoff, you're like, this is the team I expected to see all season, right? And they go on that fantastic run. They win all the games, and they're national champions. So then coming to this year, obviously we're Ohio State, so I figure we'll be good. But, first year starting quarterback, we lose a bunch of guys. It was like 8 new starters on the defense. So it's like, all right, expectations, we should be good, but, we'll see how it goes. But, we number 1 team in the nation, I feel like we deserve it, right? The way that we play, I think we've really been proven and showing that we are that top team in the nation and that we are currently the standard of college football. So, excited for November. I think Penn State will come up with something. I don't think they're going to come out and just lay a complete egg. I think that game would be, I think the spread is like a 20.5. I just got a gut feeling that we might win by 20, something like that. We'll kind of feel close because, the way Penn State's been playing lately, losing 4 in a row. But, I think we've been, so far so good this season. We just kind of have to keep going, keep rolling, keep improving on some little things, and gear up for the last game of the season and beat Michigan. We got to beat Michigan.
Now, Brian, obviously, there was all the talk in the offseason from last year, right? Coming off that national title. How are they going to come back? How are they going to come out looking this year? And I mean, obviously, one of the major parts of that coming into this season was you are breaking in a new quarterback. Obviously, Julian saying he's no stranger to pressure. Obviously, 5-star quarterback transferring out from Alabama. He knows he's going to be the guy. I mean, I don't think there was really that much of a competition in the offseason.
I can agree with you there, Chad.
We all knew it was going to be Julian saying. But there's always a little bit of nerves going into this season. You breaking into a new quarterback. I mean, look at CJ. CJ took a little bit to kind of get into a rhythm, to get going. So I just want to hear your thoughts on Julian Sayin and his progression throughout this year.
Yeah, so I think Julian came in, obviously, he's a great talent. He came in with a lot of, I think he was the number 2 quarterback of his class.
Yeah.
When we grabbed him from Alabama, once Saban decides to retire, was something that right away, you kind of start hearing reports like, hey, this guy, he has it. Right? He has the right head on his shoulders. He has a very talented arm. And, obviously, this is first year. So we had a veteran in front of him. So, that's who plays. Going into year 2, so now it's like you said, some competition. And I think Coach Day does a good job at, even like we say, watching. We don't feel like it's competition. I feel like the guys in the building feel that there is some competition there for the spot that they're playing for, which is good, right? They need to feel that pressure so they can kind of feel it on the day in, day out, executing at a high level. If not, this job might go to the next guy. And I think he kind of keeps it going for a while, maybe a little bit too long in my opinion, but he kind of keeps it going to the cap before he kind of makes that decision. So seeing Julian saying go out there on Saturdays and execute the way that he's been executing, I feel like he's doing a great job at just eliminating mistakes, understanding what defense are running, what they're in. Even, Coach Davis said, like, when he comes on the sideline, I ask him what he see, and sometimes I disagree. Then we watch the film, and Julian is right. Like, I'm sure that doesn't happen a ton in Coach Dave's career. Him being a quarterback himself, and, in the previous quarterback coach before being coordinator and head coach, So him saying, kind of going out there and obviously being able to do all those things, talented arm, making great decisions, protecting the football, and just really just executing the play. Hey, this is the call. This is the look. This is what I'm supposed to be seeing or reading off of before I, release the ball or hand it off, wherever that decision may be. He's doing a great job at identifying it, getting himself prepared. And I think the thing I love the best is that he's protect the ball. He's not throwing a bunch of crazy, weird interceptions and weird times, which always gives you the opportunity to be in the game and win them.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Chad.
No, I was going to say he's just so poised, right? And so calm for a new quarterback, right? Like he's not. You don't see him forcing things like a lot of new quarterbacks do. Like he feels like not a first-year quarterback, like not a guy going out there.
Well, at the same time, like, to piggyback on that, because it kind of leads into what I was going to say there, Chad. You look at his stats, right? He's leading the nation in completion percentage, 80% completion percentage, which is unbelievable. It certainly helps. Certainly helps when you got Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith that you're throwing to out there. 1,872 yards, which is good for about 270 yards a game, 19 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. And here's what it feels like to me, Brian, and you as a guy that was an offensive player, an offensive lineman, was in those meetings. It feels like he's still not quite unlocked. And I don't mean that as almost, I mean that as a positive for him. I don't mean as a negative. I feel like there's still a level of command that he can take his game to where he can really Like, he just strikes me as a guy that is going to get to a point where he can take over football games. And I don't know if he's there yet. And that may just be a part of first-year starter for a national champion winning football team that, he wants to kind of blend in and be a part of the team before he kind of takes over the team. But it feels like there's another level to his game, doesn't it?
I think I could agree to that. So on our show, BLEAV in Buckeyes, Chim, he found some guy and they got all these college stats and they kind of went through literally like if you're the average of everything is in where your team lands. So the thing that was, I guess, surprising when looking at these stats, if you look at how many deep throws Ohio State has over the season, I think the numbers like maybe over 15 yards down the field. Like we was behind the average by, and I forgot how to do it, but it was by a good chunk. It was a good chunk that we was behind the average on just kind of taking shots and throwing the ball downfield, which was kind of surprising to me when thinking about, first off, like you say, Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, and then also just how well Julian Sand has been playing and what type of command he has been having over the offense. But I think Coach Day and Hartliner and Patricia, I think it's all the coaches together. They kind of have a game plan to, hey, we're going to win this week, and we're worried about doing more when we have to do more. And so far this season, no one has really been in the threat of taking the lead from us. I think Texas was the closest at maybe at one point in time they could have got a touchdown. They would have maybe had a lead. But usually so far this season, we've been playing up by a couple scores. Yeah. And so I think because of that, the Coach Day and Hartline is saying, like, hey, we don't need to take a shot here. We could just kind of get this first down. We could just kind of keep orchestrating, run our offense, keep control of the ball, let our defense get a break. And it's felt like we always ends up in the red zone. Now, what happened in the red zone, I feel like that's the one thing we kind of get better at. We're not scoring enough touchdowns, in my opinion, and our field goal kicker fielding, he needs to be a little bit more consistent. But I think they're doing a great job at just not trying to do things because we know we could do them, but we're just going to do things the right way, control this game, win it. And if we're comfortable, we're not doing any gambling. We're just going to, take what's there, keep running offense and, continue to win that in that fashion. And then if it's needed, maybe have it in your back pocket to show it at that time.
I love the way they're winning games this year, Bryant. I love the way they're winning. This is almost like, this feels more dominant to me than like the 65-6 victories in some way, because it feels so easy and like methodical, right? Like there's never, it never feels like, no matter who takes the field or no matter who the Buckeyes are playing, it just feels like they don't have a chance from the get-go. On the Julian Sand front too, one last thing for me is, it feels like the way this defense is playing is allowing him to progress, is allowing him to come along a little slowly. And on that note, is Matt Patricia the best thing to happen in this Ohio State defense in a really long time? Because oh my God. My God.
Yeah, right. And it's funny. It's like when you watch our defense go out and play, they first of all, they're just suffocating, right? It's like you say, early in the game, you can like, hey, these guys don't have a chance today. Like they don't have, like, unless someone falls down, catch a cramp or something, chances are they're not making no huge play against our defense. Not today. No. Whatever Coach Patricia is doing, to me, it feels like we're a very smart defense. We're a very fast defense. We're a very physical defense. And because of all these things, like they just come up and kind of just challenge guys. Like, yeah, this is what we're doing to you. You're not going to beat your guys are not going to beat our guys. Sorry. Good luck.
Condolences.
3 plays, right? And then you have to punt it. Then we'll see, what our offense wants to do. But I don't know. It feels very, like you say, Chad. This feels good. This feels like we are the dominant team when we, from start to finish. Even in the late when we put our backups in, they feel the same way. That hey, we know what we're doing. We're very confident in what we're doing. You can't beat us.
We talked about the defense. That was going to be the next thing that I brought up too, because it's the best defense in the country by far. What's astonishing to me though, Brian, is that it's not a perfect defense. It's a defense that has had to really drag some areas along. We got used to with JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer and those guys last year, we got used to constant pressure on quarterbacks. And that's been an area where they aren't that like big pressure team on quarterback. So they didn't start that way. At least they're getting better with it though. But you look at some of the way these guys have come along, like Arvell Reese has become like easy first round draft pick linebacker Arvell Reese. And obviously Caleb Downs is, I think a lot of people call him the best defensive player in the country. And, you got Sonny Styles back there and you got the defensive backs and they're getting better from a pass rush perspective, but it's like, they're a defense that still has room to get better. That's the craziest thing about this defense to me is you're not going to run real well on them. Those defensive backs are going to make your life miserable. Those linebackers are everywhere, and still there's room for them to get better, and that has got to be frightening, especially for teams looking to play them in big games in either a conference championship or the playoff.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I hear you there, Mike, because like if it's one thing to be critical on our defense, like third down situations, I just want to see our guys line up and just win, right? I know Caden Kerr is having a fantastic season. His stat line is great. Like he's making a lot of. He got sacks, he got tackle for loss, he got total tackle. He's doing fantastic at the defensive line position. But still, I want to see him just line up and beat the offensive tackle off the ball and make a play in the backfield. And same thing with KJ. KJ has had a couple plays this season. I think he got a little nicked up this season as well. But still, same. Line up, go out there, and just beat your guy and win. Same thing with Edric Hughes. Cross the D-line. All those guys. I feel like they can do that a little bit more. It feels like right now our best pass rusher, and obviously this guy has proven himself to be a special talent, is Arvell Reese, right? Wherever he comes from, he's always bringing pressure. Whether if it's a spy and the guy in the quarterback takes off, he pops up there in a second, takes him down, or if he actually in a blitz or something and pursuing right away, he's just been very special at doing that as well. But yeah, so it's like I think that's a good thing, right? We're getting into November now. You kind of want to start seeing your full team formula. You kind of want to leave a little bit on the bone. September, October, coming off a bye, we got I think a quarterback coming into it with a second start, who's from Central Ohio, guys. He's from up the street,
right
here in Columbus. It's time to give him hell. we got to line up and make things very tricky for him and make him feel like he's playing against the Ohio State Buckeyes for sure.
And when we talk about this game, guys, Chad and Bryant, we have to talk about a certain defensive coordinator out there at Penn State that decided to leave Ohio State talking a lot of shit. He talked his way right out of Ohio State, and then he had a lot of stuff to say about the Ohio State Buckeyes football program that he just won a national championship with. So there's probably going to be a little extra juice in this game, I would imagine. I would imagine Matt Patricia has had this one circled for a while going, wait until this guy sees what our defense is going to do to their team, because I just imagine, like, you've been part of big rivalries and matchups, and you've been in locker rooms when you've heard people say things about your program, and it's just got to give you a little extra something, right?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Day had his pressure. I don't know. I think that was today or yesterday or so. And, you got to read between the lines. He's not going to give a bulletin board material. But at the end of it, he was kind of like explaining, like, yeah, you never want to see a guy from your staff leave and go to another staff in the conference, something of that nature. But he ended up saying at the end of it, like, but we are human as well. Like, letting you know, like, hey, I remember and I felt this guy who didn't show up for the parade because he was signing the contract to go join another program. He started his negotiations in the middle of the playoffs. That word could have got out and soured our run here. Guys kind of hearing some twinklers and things of that nature. So yeah, it's circled, right? And I know his end too. I'm sure he's been watching our offense for a while and said this is the way to attack Ohio State offense. So I'm sure he got some tricks up his sleeves as well that we need to be prepared for. But obviously, we got the dogs, we got the guns, we got the power. So it's time to go out and show it. Obviously, we want to light that defense up to let him know that, hey, what's it called? Coach Tressel used to say this to us all the time when we was playing. Don't be penny smart and dollar foolish. And so, yeah. He jumped over there for a couple extra dollars, and that might be his only season receiving those dollars. And he, obviously we don't know, but he could be obviously in a situation where he's trying to find a new job at the end of the year due to the change of staff.
Now, as much as I told you I love the way the Buckeyes are winning games this year, and I do, Brian, is there any small concern that it feels like we're not going to face any sort of challenge or any sort of adversity until this last game in November? All right, until we play the ungodly, weird, for real Indiana in the Big Ten, Ten championship game. Like, is there any sort of concern there that the Buckeyes seems like now, not to say they won't be, but it seems like they kind of aren't going to be challenged until then?
To be honest, I don't even think of it like that, Chad. I think, we got the best guys. We have the best staff. So, yeah, we go out and we play the best. I think, that to me is how things are going. And so to me, that's how it should continue to go. When we play Indiana in the Big Ten championship, we got to get there, right? We don't want to cross anyone. We got to get there. Yeah. But I feel like, no matter when we play Indiana, we still would be the best players with the best team, with the best staff going into that game. Now, once we get in the game, how it plays out, if the ball bounces our way, if we come up with a win or not, cannot say. I would choose, if I was a betting man, I bet for Ohio State against anyone in the nation. But, so when it comes down to it, to me, it really does not matter that we haven't had like that tough, that quote unquote tough game, because we never know. This week could be that tough game where it takes us four quarters to execute and playing hard for us to come out with a win. Michigan is going to be ready for us. We have to figure out how to win that game. That's going to be a game that's going to take 4 quarters, us executing on all 3 levels to kind of come out with a win. James Franklin has to have Ohio State circled since forever. So they had to be, I imagine since spring, they've been practicing things for this Ohio State game. It's time for them to throw the kitchen sink at us after coming off 4 losses to try to right their ship and come up with a win. So, so I feel like Chad, like you're saying, I think our defense has been doing such a great job at just smothering guys. It doesn't feel like we're getting their best punch at times, but a lot of times I think we're just playing so well that they're taking their best punch, and it doesn't feel like a blow. It doesn't feel like a glance. Like we just kind of take it in stride, and then we squash it out, and we just continue to roll from there. So obviously, you never know, but I'm betting big on Ohio State and against any team on the college level, because I think we're just that good.
Just so you know, I totally agree with you. I'm just grasping at straws here to try to figure out some sort of.
No, I hear you.
No,
I hear you.
You're like the coach of a team that's up 30-0 at halftime that just has to try to figure out something to say at the half to criticize your team a little bit.
It's 0-0. It's 0-0.
Right. Yeah.
No, we're about
that first half didn't mean anything.
Right.
Bryant, you brought it up, and again, making the assumption, and I don't think there's any reason to believe outside of before we even get to that, hold on, I wanted to ask you this. Mm-hmm. I keep seeing this, and I got to hear your take on it, because it is as annoying, I think, as it gets. The Ohio State Buckeyes come off the year they had last year. They lose to Oregon, they lose to Michigan, and then they go on the run. They flip the switch. I mean, it was the switch of switches that they flipped in that playoff. That run that they went on was unbelievable to take out Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, and then ultimately Notre Dame in the national championship. But I keep seeing this from people. I got to hear your take on it. I keep seeing people say Ryan Day's got to beat Michigan this year. Got to beat Michigan this year, as if you know what? I'm gonna give you the floor first, because I'm already riled up about it. But Ryan Day, they're making it all about. He's got to do it this year. He has to beat Michigan this year. What's your feelings as somebody that took part in that rivalry a bunch of times? What's your feeling on that?
All right. So first, I gotta just take a shot here. I went 5-0 against Michigan. So if my cleats ever hit the grass or the turf, my team came out with the victory in the rivalry game. But I say that to say I'm not losing Coach Day over the rivalry game. I'm sorry. He just went too many games. I'm sorry. This guy, he's too good. I'm not losing that guy because he can't figure out the rivalry game. We're just going to keep working with him to help him figure out the rivalry game. But he should win, right? I'm on this bandwagon. Yes, we need to win this game. We definitely needed to win it last year, and we didn't figure it out. And we definitely need to win it this year. We have to win that game. Matter of fact, we could win that game, go on and lose to Indiana in the Big Ten championship, going to the playoffs. I'm perfectly fine. We got to figure out a way to kind of get that monkey off our back and win that game. Right? It's mental at this point, right? I don't know. I feel like we're going too extreme, maybe trying to get ready for it. I don't know. I feel like, first we kind of go into the cheating scandal. Michigan was helping themselves out a little bit in those games. I don't care what you say. I don't know what side you guys on, but knowing the plays is a huge advantage. I'm sorry. If you guys
you think? You think?
It's not that big of a no. It's a huge deal if you know what the other team definitely is about to run and call. It's a big deal. So we get past that. And obviously last year was the year to kind of put that to bed, and we don't. We go out, we lay an egg. I don't know. I got some theories on what happened in that game. Obviously, our special teams really let us down. Michigan make a play. They win the game. It hurts. It stings. This year, we got to right the ship. I don't know if we're getting too fired up for it. And it'll be tough to say that we're too flat for it. So I don't know if we're getting too fired up for it to the point that our guys are not thinking or operating properly and they're feeling that pressure that the coaches are putting on them. But they have to figure it out. I would say this. When we play, like I said, we won every year. It's a big game. Everyone knows it's a big game. My first year in college was the game of the century, the 1-versus-2 game. That big game. So I got to watch it. Obviously, I was on the side, red shirt, so I'm on the sideline. I get to take that in. But everyone knows the physicality that game brings, the toughness it brings, the mental focus that you have to have. Our team used to get fired up. And I'll recall Chim kind of, you guys know Chim, who I do my show with. And he kind of always reminded me, I kind of forgot, he reminded me maybe last year that if you recall, like we used to get fired up, amped up for this game all week. And then the night before, Tressel would calm everybody down with tone and talk and say like, hey, look, we know what this game is. We know what it takes. We got fired up for it all week. We have all the traditions that week. I think Coach Day does things a little bit different now. We go through all the traditions that week. But when you get out there, guys, it's going to be physical. It's going to be a tough fought game. But you have to mentally be locked in and do the right thing. Play after play after play. That's what's going to be the difference. And we was able to do that. I was like, so you won those games. Some games we blew them out. We did play against a couple of Michigan teams that wasn't that good throughout my years. Play against the Michigan teams that was pretty good. And we always kind of figured out a way to win. So I don't know. I'm feeling like that's maybe it. Maybe we're just too fired up that we're kind of losing little things, and we let these guys hang in the game, and next thing you know, we lose it. But we got to figure it out wherever it takes to kind of lock in, get that job done. We got to check that box. We need to check that box.
I couldn't agree more, Bryant. And Mike and I have had this conversation so much on this show. Last year, if you cannot right the ship last year, and I know you're gonna, I hope you don't look at me any different for this, Bryant. But after last year, with just no real offense or quarterback, and the defense last year was so like mediocre to good. I'm talking about this Michigan team. Like if you weren't going to right the ship against a really average Michigan team, I don't know that I can, until he does it. I don't know that I can pick Coach Day and the Buckeyes in the Michigan game going forward until he does it.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, history matters, and the history shows right now that they haven't got it done. So I mean, that's fair.
At the same time, here's what I get fired up about, Brian. I don't know about you as a player. I know that game matters. I know winning that game matters. I know I could see it. It was awesome, actually, to see your face when you said, now I want to say that I went, here was my record against Michigan, and it included 0 losses. I know it matters, and I know it's important. But if your season ends with a national championship, I really don't give a shit what you do against Michigan, to be honest.
That's the other side of the coin now.
When people are like, does Ryan Day need to beat Michigan this year to keep his job? I'm like, what are you saying right now? They won the national championship last year, and they did it in maybe the most dominant fashion you could have ever expected them to do it. So if they lost to Michigan in that again this year, which I hope they don't do, but if they did, and then they went on to win another national championship, I'm not going to care. Good for Michigan fans that you can say, woo, we beat the national champions, but you're not standing at the end of the year. Ohio State is. That has to be the thought process, right?
Right. No, that's the ultimate goal. I mean, I'm not a guy that's going to sit here and say the beating Michigan is more important than winning national. I do not agree to that. And winning national champion, being the number one team in college football, especially with these playoffs, being the number one team in football matters more to me than beating a team up north. But it's like you say, we got the playoffs now, and it changes. Because historically, you lose to Michigan, you don't get that opportunity. So, it was even more weight on that game because every year we could anticipate Ohio State's going to have a good year, Michigan's going to have a good year. But the team that gets to be national champion has to win this game in November. Now things have changed. College football has changed. Got a bigger playoff, so we lose that game. We take that momentum. We go on the run. But national championship all the way.
At the same time, we can't be letting guys like Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs and stuff leave Ohio State at some point. Carnell Tate leave Ohio State without beating Michigan. Like it's just crazy.
We cannot continue that tradition.
Yeah, you're trying to beat Michigan, but now it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Bryant, I want to play just a little word association game with you before we let you out of here tonight, and I want to kind of go around college football, and I want to talk about some of the teams that are going to be talked about in the college football playoff discussion. Some of the top tier teams, and I want to know your impressions on these teams as far as what a threat you think they are. Because again, it's Ohio State's national championship to lose, and so somebody's going to have to take it from them. So if I go through these teams, give me just your quick impressions on each one of these teams, and let's talk about Curt Cignetti's bunch. These guys that I think are some of the. I hate that they're in the Big Ten, but I think Indiana's probably the most fun team out there. I think Indiana's probably the most fun team in college football, and that includes Ohio State. So talk about your impression of Indiana, the Hoosiers, and Curt Cignetti's team there.
I think that I'm gonna say this a quick glance. They're almost the Ohio States of the world. I don't think they're quite there yet, but I like the way they play. I like the way they win. If voters wanted to pick them number one, I would like that. Give them the number one spot. They win by 50. Pick them up there. I would love it, but I think we'll knock them down when we see them. But go Hoosiers until you play the Buckeyes.
I also don't think, Bryant, that brings up a really good point. The voters, the AP poll, by the way, some of these people that vote in the AP poll are on all the drugs.
They need to rotate those people out.
Yeah, they really do.
But there's quite a few people that have put Indiana number one this season, and I don't disagree with it. I think Indiana's they probably have the best win on the season. When they went out and won, they dominated Oregon. You can't be mad about that. They're having a great year. They're going to have to face the Buckeyes at some point.
Yeah. I'm not a huge poll guy, so if it helps, if you want to feel that, want to be number one, be number one. As long as we don't lose anything for it, give it to them. I could care less.
Let's kind of keep working our way down, and we're going to get hit in the face with a few SEC teams here. And I'm sorry. My alma mater back here might be number 3 in the country. But the Texas A&M Aggies, Marcel Reed, and the Aggies just went and basically got what's his face fired down there at LSU. Guy, I can't even.
Exactly. What's his face? He doesn't deserve it.
No. I just didn't want to say his name.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know that guy is who he is, right?
yeah, something like that. But again, I don't know how much you're watching of every team, but from what you've seen of the Aggies, what's your quick impressions?
Quick impressions. You're not gonna like this. Not the top team in the SEC.
Ooh, all right. Well, maybe we're going to get to that soon. I might have an argument here in a minute because the next team on the list is Alabama. Is that who you're going to say is the top team in the SEC?
Nope. I actually think it's Georgia, even though Alabama beats them. But that's my opinion. But no, Alabama, solid team, a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I feel like at the end of the day, their coach will let them down.
What do you think the look on Nick Saban's face would be if a screen went out to a 360-pound left tackle like in the Georgia game?
It wouldn't be nice. It wouldn't be nice. Hey, keep my guy in the trench. It's funny. It's funny in games until he get hit on that knee from somebody he couldn't see.
Yeah.
Side, then it's not going to be funny anymore. Like, let's play the game the right way, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so do your impression of Alabama though. Why do you have them not at that top spot?
It's defense, man. I just defensively, and it's funny, like, because you can make that same argument about a lot of these SEC teams. It's like defensively, they just don't bring it in big games for whatever reason. They just kind of, in my opinion, giving up a lot of points, a lot of big plays in crucial situations. So whatever it is, that focus, that whatever it takes to be a good defense, for whatever reason, I feel like it's lacking. And even Alabama is like letting teams run the ball on them this year, and they cannot run the ball this year, which is just weird to say about an Alabama team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then obviously the next one is your pick to win the SEC. It's the Georgia Bulldogs. Why is that your pick?
I just think the experience, when I see their quarterback, what he brings to the table, obviously he hasn't been playing the longest amount of time, but I just think he kind of has that little it factor to him. I feel like Georgia, they lost, right? They tend to kind of lose. They tend to kind of lose to Alabama. And then they kind of lose to Alabama, they kind of figure it out for the rest of the way. So I'm thinking that that's something that they're playing again this season. Take a loss to Alabama, and they let that fire them, propel them forward, and they take it how far they can take it.
That and Georgia's never out of the game.
Correct.
I mean, they've been down to what? They've been down to Ole Miss, and I can't remember. There was a couple other teams, and they just came back.
Yeah.
So yeah,
a Tennessee game. Yeah, they're awesome.
Tennessee. That's the other one.
I might have to throw like a bourbon bet on the table for you though, because Texas A&M's winning the SEC.
I got
Texas A&M's defense is wild underrated. They are really good, and they have the best wide receivers in the SEC. Those two dudes are sick.
Yeah. No, I did like to see the guy win early against the true freshman at the end. Then like he go customize the line of scrimmage. I was like, yeah, that guy. You seem like a first day draft guy right there. That guy, I don't know much about him, but it looks like he's probably going the first round.
Bryant, I went to undergrad and I went to grad school. I went to Bowling Green and I went to Texas A&M, and that dude transferred from Bowling Green to Texas A&M. So he's maybe my favorite player of all time, except for Bryant Browning, of course. Just a couple other teams here on the list. Next on the list, you kind of have this next group of teams down. You've got Oregon, who took that big loss to Indiana, but pretty good elsewhere throughout the course of the season. What about the Ducks, a team that Ohio State's not going to see this year?
Yeah, I think the Ducks are serious. Obviously, due to things, like something happens, right? We probably won't see them until the playoffs. But I think Dante Moore is a serious player out there at the quarterback position. Dan Lanning has done it again with getting guys, getting pieces, and just really keeping his guys motivated to kind of go out there and lock in and play to their best ability. So I think the Ducks are serious, and they'll be in line for a good run here when if they. Oh, I don't know if Big Ten or not, but definitely once they get into the playoffs, maybe to make some noise.
I think Dan Lanning needs to lay off the Red Bull. I mean, maybe.
I hope it's just Red Bull.
I just went clean there. Like I didn't know where I could have taken those jokes, but like.
All right.
He's fired up. He's a fired up guy. I love it. I love to see it.
Just killing those smelling salts. All right, I got two more groups for you. I got this like surprise group in the top 10.
Okay.
And then I got everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
The surprise group, obviously the top 10, are these two teams that have just been on these magical runs this season. You got Vanderbilt, who is just tearing it up.
Yeah.
And you got Georgia Tech over there in the ACC, who I think is probably, unless Miami does something weird, is probably going to win the ACC, is Georgia Tech. So you got those two teams that are top 10. It looks like both of them. Georgia Tech, I think for sure, is probably playoff bound. We'll see about Vanderbilt, but thoughts on those two, the surprise teams?
Yeah, I would say first on Vanderbilt. I watched a little bit more Vanderbilt that I didn't have of Georgia Tech. I watched them play most of that Missouri game. I kind of liked it, and then also most of that Alabama game. They should have won the Alabama game. They quarterback kind of let it down in that game. A couple of turnovers in the red zone there. So that's a game they really kind of let slip away, I feel like. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I like Vanderbilt. I don't think they are a contender to be national champions or anything of that nature, but I think they are on a good run. Hopefully they can hold it together. Maybe one more loss this year. They still could get into the playoffs. I'm hoping they kind of could figure that out again. I think it'd be a good story to get them in, but I don't think they're a serious contender to win it all. Georgia Tech, haven't watched them a ton, but obviously they keep winning. So if they could close out the season that way, they must have a lot of something. They got something there, right? You get to this point, you get to November undefeated. You've done some things the right way. So hopefully they can kind of, keep it going. I don't know who's on the schedule. Once again, haven't watched them much, but I'll check them out here soon. Now that they're in the top 10.
Well, I think what's really taken Vanderbilt over the top this year is Theo Vaughn dating Diego Paiava's mom.
Yeah.
That's ever since that started happening, they've been playing a lot better.
Send it.
Hey, sometimes you just need some motivation. You get the right guys around the program, and things take off, man.
That's right. That's right.
It.
All right. So then the last category, Brian, is just kind of everybody else. It starts with Ole Miss, who's ranked 7th, but we've already talked about a lot of SEC teams. But you've got these other teams that just kind of are lurking, but they're like the blue blood big programs. You got Miami, who took that really bad loss. You got Notre Dame, who took 2 losses early, including one to Miami. Texas Tech is having like a magical year out there in the worst city, Lubbock, Texas. And then you keep going down and you see the Tennessees, and then you hate to even say it, but you see the Oklahomas out there. You see the Michigans out there. You even see Texas kind of creeping their way back up. And so just kind of the rest of everybody. Are there any teams that like maybe we kind of all thought were going to fall out early because of early loss? Like take Notre Dame, the first 2 losses.
Yeah, that's
including to the Texas A&M East.
Yeah, right. No,
I think who are those teams?
I think Notre Dame is serious. The way they just play a good batch of football, right? And I would say, obviously, I don't like to give them this credit, but the same thing about Michigan. That's why we've been losing. Like they just play in a good batch of football. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to have a very sound defense that you have to physically kind of take them out their place if you're going to make that play successful. And they challenge you with that because they have very, very physical guys as well. Obviously, Michigan is very young at the quarterback, so I anticipate them to probably lose again. Definitely lose that last week in November before the season. I don't think they would kind of get into that big bunch of things. But I like Miami. I think Carson, obviously, against Louisville, he played very bad, and they lost the game because of it. But so far this season, he's been kind of locked in. He's been playing at a really high level. I think he shakes that off. I think Miami figure out a way to kind of keep going with a 1-loss season and get themselves into the playoffs. But I like Notre Dame because, once again, they play a good batch of football. They know how to run the ball. Not that they just got special guys and Jeremiah Love. They really know about, how to run the ball, and their quarterback is not bad as well. And then you got Marcus Freeman, one of my former teammates, running.
I was going to say, is it hard for you to kind of not like Notre Dame because of him?
I definitely root for him. If they're not playing Ohio State, I'm rooting for Notre Dame. Like, and that's just how it is now. And once he leaves, if he leaves, it'll go back to me not caring that much about Notre Dame. But while he's there, I'm a cheer for him. But seriously, they play a very good batch of football. Obviously, they made it to the finals last year, right? They combed themselves through the playoffs as well and was able to get to the finals. So you're looking at a good team. So my pick of the others are Miami and Notre Dame. So for some teams that can kind of play themselves back into it. I feel like Notre Dame ranking. I think they're already back into it. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know what. They're close, right?
Well, they're 12th in the AP.
Yeah, 12th.
So, but obviously,
you got to do a little bit more.
Doesn't tell you what's going to happen, but
you're right. They got to do a little bit more. But I think they're kind of on that path of maybe sneaking themselves into the playoffs. To me, that's a dangerous team, Notre Dame. And like I said, once again, with Beck, when he's playing correctly, I think Miami got a lot of talent down there and can make some noise as well.
There's some weird quirks in college football. I forget what you said earlier, but there, like Kinnick Stadium at night, right? Like Iowa at night. Apparently that's very dangerous, right? You just mentioned Louisville. Louisville on a Friday night, watch out. You could get your asses kicked. All right? Mm-hmm. Or like there's another one. There is Purdue, a top 5 right? Top 5 opponents against Purdue. They tend to upset top 5, anybody ranked in the top 5. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but Vandy, by the way, we mentioned Vandy before, guys. See if they can get in. They're at Texas this week. Back-to-back home games against Auburn and Kentucky, and then they're at Tennessee. Yeah. So as long as Diego and his mom and Theo don't break up, they could the playoffs, guys.
Run it in.
Playoffs.
My opinion, though, if they beat Texas and just drop one other game, I can say they could lose a game. But if they beat Texas and lose one of those other 3, I think they get in. I
agree with that.
That's the best part about the playoff, right? You would never even dream of Vandy in the playoff before this.
Right. I love arguing about the 12th team as opposed to the 2nd team. I love that. Oh, God, I love that. One last team I got to ask you about, Brian, before we let you get out of here. Do we got state champs coming in Glenville? The Glenville Tarblooders gonna make a run in the Division 4 state playoffs?
I think so.
How are we feeling about it?
I think last year they was pretty upset. I know. So they won back-to-back last year. I think they lost. I don't know. Maybe it's the semis. I want to say it was the semis because I was going to gear up to go to the state championship if they would have made it, and they didn't get it done. So I know that put a bitter taste in their mouths. They've been locked in. I don't know if you guys, they played, in my opinion, probably, I don't know how, but they most likely played the toughest schedule in Ohio football.
One of them.
Right?
One of them.
They had some guys lined up there. So I think they're gearing themselves up for a run. They got the taste of, like, you know, they're not just going to be able to dominate the D4 playoffs like maybe they thought they was due to last year and the upset. So I feel like they'll be locked in, primed up for a big run. And I'm picking them. I'm picking my Tarblooders to be state champs this year.
Let's go. All right.
Yeah, man.
I'm not gonna not pick them.
They'll be ready. They locked in, ready to go.
Yeah, it was the state semi. They lost to Perkins. I forgot about that. Perkins was a killer last year, though. They were awesome. All right, Bryant, man, we're gonna let you out of here. This has been awesome. It's always fun talking Buckeyes football with you, but always talking just college football, life in general, and obviously Halloween. I appreciate your input on the light up things for the little kids and the candy for the big kids. I think my wife and I are going to be able to strike a good compromise there, and I'm going to tell her you said so. So I appreciate you for that, Bryant, man. Thank you for everything. Go check out Bryant Browning on the BLEAV in Buckeyes show with Chimdi Chekwa. As you guys just tear it up there. And again, I see your faces every time I go out to eat at a restaurant that has TVs. I see your guys' faces up there. So keep killing it over there, man. And we look forward to catching up with you down the road.
I appreciate it, Mike, Chad. It's always fun. Always fun to have a drink, talk some sports with you guys. You guys have a good evening.
Let's go. You too, Bryant.
See you, Bryant. Yeah. I love that dude. I love when Bryant Browning comes on with us. He is one of my favorites, and there's a reason his show with Chimdi blows up the way it does. There's a reason it's on TVs all over the place.
He's the new cold pizza or hot take or whatever the fuck the new talk show is.
Hot pizza.
Yeah.
Terrible name for a TV show.
Right. Jesus Christ.
Nah, he was great, though, and great insight on Ohio State and everything going on there. So big shout out to Bryant. All right, Chad.
Yeah.
We got to do Asshole of the Week.
Holy shit. Well,
we got to do Asshole of the Week because we're at that point of the show. And then we got other stuff I want to talk about. So you and I are probably going to be hanging out here for a minute. So grab another beer and let's do that. But we got to talk about our Assholes of the Week. Who's your Asshole of the Week, Chad?
Yeah, mine's just the Browns because they deserve to be. For all of the reasons. I mean, there's not even one specific one. It's just the Browns. It's going to be the Browns for a while. So I'll have secondary assholes, but just know that the Browns are a constant asshole.
Cool. You took mine. And I didn't have another one. I didn't pay attention to anybody that's just been an asshole this week. If you're watching the show and somebody's been an asshole and you're like, oh, you guys aren't thinking about this person, go ahead. But the Browns took it, man. And I had the best day, Chad.
I know.
Monday was my mom's 75th birthday. So Sunday. So shout out to Kathleen, my mom. Happy 75th. Sunday, beautiful day. Little chilly, little nip in the air, nip in the air.
Yeah.
And Sunday, loaded up the car, took the kids, took Katie, and took my mom. And we drove out to Catawba. and we went to Twin Oaks Brewing, which I will give a shout out to, even though we don't do free ads, but Twin Oaks Brewing is awesome. And there was like nobody there. Every time I've ever gone to Twin Oaks out there at Catawba, it's packed.
Yeah.
Nobody there. It was awesome. And they had the fire pits out, and they had the Browns on the big screen on like the stage, like at the bottom of the hill.
That sucks.
And it was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And like one of the fire pits right in front was like wide open. And so I went out, I built a fire, had the fire pit going. We had some beers, the kids. I mean, like, I don't know if you've ever been out there, but like, it's acres and acres, and the kids just run and they're gone.
Yeah.
Kids were gone for like 2 straight hours.
Nice.
We had a great day.
Nice.
Everything was great, except for I'm looking at this game going, all right, Browns come out and score on that really kind of convincing touchdown drive against that Patriots defense. The touchdown to Fannin. Cool. Awesome. Then we've got, okay, the defense is holding the Patriots to some field goals. The offense ain't doing shit, but it's 9-7 at the half. I'm thinking, okay, all right. The game's at the half. Okay, we're all right. And then the second half happened, 21-0 in the third quarter, and I was like, fuck this. And they didn't ruin my day, but God damn it, are they assholes? I mean, just assholes. Just assholes.
Mike, like 5 of the last 6 games have been the same thing. It's been the same exact game. Scripted score on the first drive, defense keeps it close in the second in the first half. Then they get blown out in the second half.
Yeah,
4 blowouts, and it's not even Halloween. 4
but like
blowouts.
But like you can see why they're frustrated, and you can see why almost they kind of like on games because defense played well, and then we got to be getting close to the end of the Dillon Gabriel thing because let's talk about the Browns for a minute because we'll just transition this into a quick Browns talk.
Can we get this? Get this shit over with.
Heading into the bye week. I guess what I don't understand is how a guy like Dillon Gabriel goes from a program like Oregon, where it's like air this shit out. Just let the ball loose and get after it. And listen, the Browns wide receivers are trash. I hope they play this in the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Trash. Yeah. Jerry Jeudy, trash. Jerry Jeudy is on pace for 40 catches this year. 40. And he's going to be the leading wide receiver. Isaiah Bond, not ready yet.
No.
Nobody else stepping up. Thrash goes out there every once in a while. In this game against the Patriots, of all the passes that were completed, which wasn't a ton, but of all the ones that were, only 2 of them got completed to wide receivers, and they were both to Jamari Thrash. Jerry Jeudy didn't catch a pass. Isaiah Bond didn't catch a pass. No other weird wide receiver that's out there. Gage Larvdan and those got Malachi Corley, and neither one of them caught passes. Only 2 balls got caught by wide receivers. But at the same time, Chad, I'm watching this kid out there play quarterback, and I'm thinking, don't you even want to like try to air it out a little bit? Like, isn't that what you did in college?
Yeah.
Like that. I have a real problem with Kevin Stefanski this year. I think he's coaching like a bitch. Yeah. I've accused Ryan Day of this in that Michigan game. I think Ryan Day, when he gets to that Michigan game, coaches like a bitch, and he's going to keep coaching like a bitch until he doesn't coach like a bitch anymore. That's the take on Ryan Day against Michigan. And right now, Kevin Stefanski is coaching like a bitch.
Yeah.
That offense, he is coaching like an absolute tail tucked between his legs bitch. He's not. There is no creativity. There's nothing they're trying to get going. They're taking. I would rather have Dillon Gabriel throwing interceptions 30 yards down the field than watching him throw interceptions on 4-yard passes because the defense knows the 4-yard pass is coming. Everything they are doing is the most predictable, the most obvious. And then what do they do? I know New England is the number 1 defense in the NFL against the run, but to run Quinshon Judkins 9 times, and I know he got hurt, but to run him 9 times, to run the ball a total of, I think, 16 times. And that was like 8 different guys running the ball. It was like Quinshon Judkins ran the ball 9 times, and then like 7 other dudes ran the ball once. To just give up on the running game. to act like you're just to just give in to what the other team wants you to do. That's what New England wants you to do. They want to stifle your running game early so that you give up on the running game, and then they can take advantage of you later in the game. And you coached like such a bitch that you played right into it. Right into it. It was, I said it in my recap video, Chad. I'm not like, you can't hurt me anymore. You can't hurt me anymore. You can't hurt me anymore.
No.
But like, to watch just bitch coaching is just very aggravating. It's very aggravating.
I wish there was a way to blow this entire thing up. Financially, it can't happen.
Right.
I financially, it can't happen. I know it can't happen, but I wish there was a way. I've said it before. I said it all last year. I would rather watch 0-16 and 1-15 again than watch this. Because to me, it's more heartbreaking, it's more sad, it's more aggravating, it's more irritating to watch us have to be so talented on one side of the ball and not figure it out on the other side, which is causing and on top of that, wasting an all-world Hall of Fame player like Myles Garrett. It's the same situation with the Guardians too, wasting a Hall of Fame caliber player like Jose Ramirez. And it's just, we're wasting the prime years of these guys. And I think the reason why I wish there was a way to blow this whole thing up, Mike, is because by the time the offense gets it together, by the time the offense, if they ever do, by the way, because you still need a quarterback, right? You still need actual talent at the skill positions, while outside of running back and tight end, I guess you still need actual talent at the wide receiver. At wide receiver. Oh, and by the way, you're getting a brand new offensive line, all 5 of them. You're getting a brand new offensive line next year. So by the time this offense gets it together, this defense is going to be old. It's going to be time to rebuild the defense. So this vicious cycle is just going to continue. Well, so what the Browns need, and who knows if this is actually going to happen under Andrew Berry and Paul Deepa fucking Desta. Who knows if this is actually going to happen? But the only way that this comeback, this turnaround happens is you get away from that Watson contract finally, which is going to happen in the next year, after next year, 2 years,
after next year.
Yeah, so after next year,
Deshaun's contract's gonna be on the books next year,
and draft picks that you make, these early round draft picks, have to be stars, and they have to be stars right away. That's the only way this thing gets turned around quickly. Otherwise, 3, 4 years, 5 years, who the fuck knows? Because we've been waiting 26 for this team to actually put something together sustainably.
Well, I've tried to be practical about it all year, but we're at the point now where, you want to give Dylan Gabriel 1 or 2 more, but you're going to have to go Shedeur the rest of the way. You got to get a look at him, because God bless, you're not getting anything out of Shedeur. But here's the thing:
who cares if he's not ready? Just why? You don't have anything to lose. It's a lost season.
Listen, they're going to have some cap space for next year because you've got some guys falling off. And they do, the way they've restructured things, they're going to have a little cap space. You got to take a quarterback. You got to get the kid from Indiana, or you got to get the kid from Alabama. One of those 2 dudes has to show up on this team next year. And with that other first round pick, because you're going to lose a bunch more games this year. With that other first round pick, you got to hope that Jacksonville is bad enough over the back part of their year, which they certainly can be, to wind up with a Carnell Tate, maybe that kid out of Arizona State that's like their entire offense.
Yeah.
If you can walk out of the first round with one of those quarterbacks, one of those top end wide receivers, and then you attack the offensive line in free agency, this thing could turn around real fast. You got to hit. Those guys got to be good, but it could turn around very quickly. So I don't want to make it out like there's no, like you still, again, the defense is going to be good the next several years. You have to address it this year, though. You can't go in. I was of the hope going into this year that you would know either Dylan Gabriel or Shadur Sanders could be the guy going into future years. I don't think you're going to know that at all. And then you just can't take the chance. You can't take the chance that they're not. And so you can't go into the draft going, well, we're going to grab offensive line instead. Or, oh, we're going to address, well, this Caleb Downs is there or whatever. You can't do it. You got to go in and fix your goddamn offense.
Right.
Fix it and get it right.
Yeah. And Kevin, I don't know if you're going to survive this year, but if you do, you need to fully reimagine your offense. Especially if you can add some talent at wide receiver and you get a solid group on the offensive line and you get your goddamn quarterback, which you've been waiting for 26 years. You have to reimagine this because what you're doing is not working. It's not.
I'm almost now at the point now where I'm afraid that they're going to come out of the bye and get some wins, though. I mean, you got the Jets. They're not going to beat the Ravens. Lamar's going to be back by the time they play the Ravens, so that is game over. But goddamn, you got the Titans. You've got who else is on the schedule? You got the I don't remember who else is on the schedule. Well, it's bad. There's a lot of bad teams on the schedule. I'm almost afraid they're going to
play the Steelers,
the Raiders.
You got to play the Steelers again. You're playing the Bengals again.
The Bears.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of teams you can win. There's a lot of games you can win coming up. I'm not going to pick them to win a single one.
No.
I want to throw this out there. We'll do our predictions next week, but the Browns are losing to the Jets. Like, I'm throwing that out there now.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear anything about it. The only other thing I want to address with the Browns. You're not just going to magically get better by trading Myles Garrett. I don't know why this happens. And I think part of it is on Myles and part of it's on the fans and the media and all that. But man, he goes out, he sacks Drake May 5 times. He was a major reason the Browns should have had a chance to win the game and they didn't. And his frustration is understandable. But I'm not playing this game with you guys every week. Every time they lose, I'm not playing hey, they're going to trade Myles Garrett game. No, they're not. A, because it makes no financial sense for them to do so. And B, because it makes no team sense for them to do so. It makes no sense for that to happen. Imagine you trade Myles Garrett and you wind up with, again, a team that's going to trade for Myles Garrett and a team that's going to give up a shit ton for him is going to be a team like Baltimore or a team like Green Bay, or maybe not Green Bay. That's probably a bad example, but one of those kind of teams that's going to be a really good football team, which means, yeah, you might grab 3 first-round picks from them, but guess where all those picks are going to be? 30, 29, 28. You're not going to get anybody that resembles them. Again, it's Moneyball. In the aggregate, you're not going to come up with Myles Garrett. So it makes no sense on the field if you want this team to be any good anytime soon. And from a cap perspective, you are very close to being out from underneath this Deshaun Watson thing. You're close. His dead cap's going to hit another year. And then you can get out from under this. But like, if you were to trade Myles Garrett, you have just dead cap held yourself for the next several years. That doesn't help you rebuild a team. It doesn't help. And people are going to say, well, oh, look at the situation for Denver with Russell Wilson. Yeah. And Denver had already built a pretty good roster there and they hit on a quarterback. And Bo Nix is pretty good. And that's why Denver is pretty good. Or like other teams that have done, like Dallas, they got rid of what's his face, Micah Parsons. A, that didn't crush them financially, and B, they already had a roster and a quarterback and whatever. Browns have none of that. So to trade Myles Garrett and just put yourself in cap hell before you have even a quarterback to try to climb out of it, it would be devastating for years. You're not going to do it. Can we stop talking about it? Can we all agree to just shut the fuck up about it?
Yeah, I saw some bullshit about Myles is going to need several assurances next year and he's going to.
He's got 40 million of them.
The only thing you're going to be able to assure him is that the check won't bounce. Like
Right.
like that's it. You can't make any assurances of anything. Like, and I wouldn't, if I was Miles, I wouldn't trust anything this organization told me anyway. How about that fucking smirk? Yeah, I know the quarterback situation. Of course, I know the quarterback situation. We're going to sign Joe Flacco and then draft Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Oh, I can't wait. Nah, yeah, shut up. Everybody shut up. All the Browns, everything just shut up. Shut up until you win, Browns.
Everybody shut up.
Shut up.
Here, I'll give you an asshole of the week. I'll give you an asshole of the week, even though it's not of the week, but it just came into my head. How about this for let's just do a season-long asshole. Browns, like part owner or whatever, J.W. Johnson, that every time they win a game, he goes onto Twitter and starts talking shit to people. Hey, J.W., shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Knock it off.
Oh, you know what? And you know what? Fine. I'll have a delayed asshole. Jimmy Haslam.
Ooh,
Jimmy Haslam. Okay.
we're not making any friends here.
No, I don't give a shit. Right. So if you come out and you have the nerve, this was a few weeks ago, but like I have failed to mention it on the show for some reason. You come out and you say that the fact that you're more concentrated on the dome than the Browns, than your football team is assholery enough. But the fact that you come out and you say, "Oh yeah, new tickets, the tickets to the stadium will be like average will be around $200." You think that's what Browns fans want to hear right now?
Yeah, right.
Like, do you think that's exactly what Browns fans want to hear? I'm willing to put a significant amount of money on that this city doesn't give a shit about the dome and would rather have a winning football team.
100%.
I would put a significant amount of money on that. So maybe shut the fuck up about the dome and about ticket prices and about what's to come with the dome as it pertains to the Cleveland Browns until you actually start putting a winning product on the field.
And I am a massive proponent of the dome.
Me
I'm
too.
excited for the dome. I want the dome. I'm going to go to games at the dome. But
as it pertains to football, I don't give a shit about it right now.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No, there again, just every week we get to talk about more historic levels of incompetence with this team. And that ultimately goes to your asshole of the week right there, Jimmy Haslam, which is you're overseeing the most incompetent organization. And I don't mean that like I'm an Andrew Berry supporter. I think Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski all of a sudden is coaching like a bitch. So that pisses me off. But I've been ardent supporters of these guys. But you're now just adding into years of just the most there is no franchise in sports that is more incompetent. There isn't one.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. There's no franchise in the NBA or the NHL or Major League Baseball or the NFL that is more incompetent than the Cleveland Browns. And ultimately that goes to the top. And that goes to Jimmy and D, who have the nerve to sit out and act like they know what the fuck they're talking about when they clearly don't on any topic. Jimmy and D don't have a clue what they're talking about on any topic. You've got their idiot J.W. Johnson. I don't know, like he's just like the idiot off to the side that just says stupid shit all the time, and he's incompetent. And I've been a supporter of Paul DePodesta, incompetent. I'm not going to say a lot of bad shit because I really do like Andrew Berry. But he's part of incompetence. There's just, we've got a Pittsburgh guy in the comments here that says the Pittsburgh Pirates suck balls. I nominate them for worst franchise in sports, but they're playing at a disadvantage already. And it's their owner 100% with Pittsburgh, the Pirates. Their owner is cheap as fuck. And makes our owner here in Cleveland, Paul Dolan, look like Bill Gates at the way he doesn't spend money. But like in baseball, it's just a little different because there is such a plateau on the money thing and all that. But Jimmy Haslam, the buck stops there, pal. The buck stops there, and just absolutely incompetent. And they're going to be incompetent the rest of this year. And there's no reason to think they're not going to be. No reason. Yeah.
I mean, sure. You can be a supporter of Andrew Berry. You can like some of the things he's done. You can absolutely like the things he's done. But there's a point where the results have to show, right? Like on paper, he's done a lot of good things, but there's a point where it's got to show on the field, and it just hasn't. So all that does is it adds to the incompetence, like you said. So I cannot get so emotionally wrapped up in this team anymore on Sundays. I cannot.
Here's my thing. I'm going to have a real problem. I've said this forever. They're not going to be good until they're out of this Deshaun thing. You know, Philip got the comments, and it's a big, long comment, but basically said he had this like epiphany that Jimmy, AB, and KS got in a room and said, we're going to ride this thing out together, build me a winner by 28. I actually think there's probably some truth to this. I don't think Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry are going anywhere because I think Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam got together and made the Deshaun Watson deal together. I think they all knew it was happening. I think they understood it was happening, and I think they all agreed on it, which is why I don't think Jimmy Haslam is out here firing dudes, because it was a train wreck. It was a disaster. It was the most abject disaster in the history of the NFL. It's the worst trade of all time in the NFL. And there is no arguing that. No arguing that. But I think they all had a hand in it, which is why I think Jimmy Haslam's going, well, shit, I'm not going to fire you because we're basically fucked because of what we did. But
so I got to sit through 2 more years of bullshit, Phil. That's what you're telling me.
Right. Yeah.
2 more years of bullshit.
Oh
God.
I know. I struggle with this because I really don't want Andrew Berry to go anywhere. I think he's a very good general manager, and I know people will get all worked up about that, but he's been again, with the specter of the Deshaun Watson situation, he's very limited as to what he can do. We're treating his 3rd-round picks like they're 1st-round picks. They're not. Kevin Stefanski, I've stood behind every step of the way, but this season is killing me slowly, watching him coach like a bitch. And I'm going to keep calling him a bitch because he's coaching like a bitch. And I don't want him to coach like a bitch anymore. Stop coaching. I would rather, again, go out there and just go balls to the wall. And if you lose games, you lose games. But just go balls to the wall. He's coaching like they're in. Kevin Stefanski right now is coaching like prevent offense all season long.
Yeah.
Bitch coach.
Yeah.
It's driving me nuts.
I can't disagree with you. Maybe that'll be the attitude coming out of the bye week, right? Maybe you'll see Dylan start to push the ball.
They're gonna take a knee on 1st down after the opening kickoff
and just punt on 2nd down. That'd be amazing. Might as well. I mean, that's about as good as your offense is doing right now.
I don't know.
I feel bad for these young kids too, like that I see on like a Chef Zay or something. Like, you guys just haven't had all of the years of hurt yet. Like you haven't had you haven't gotten to the hurt threshold yet. And I get why. Believe me, we've been in your shoes. Mike and I have been in your shoes, right? I'm just at that threshold. I cannot get mad or take this team seriously until they put something sustainable on the field.
I want to give a preemptive cheers to this kid, this person. I shouldn't say kid. This person in the comments, Mr. Steeler fan. A Steelers fan here. Love the city of Cleveland. Respect the Browns. Miss watching Josh Gordon. The NFL had it out for him. Okay, what are you trying to make friends here? All right, you're doing it. You're doing a good job. Also, I agree with this point. You don't fire Kevin Stefanski style with the high turnover. I would have agreed until this year when he started coaching like a bitch. But 2 times coach of the year. Yeah, he was. But that doesn't, you've got to maintain that. But listen, Steelers fan in here having a lot of nice things to say. So shout out to Steeler fan there. I didn't want to talk about the Browns this much because frankly, it's a bye week. They're probably going to lose. They'll find a way to lose the bye.
Yes.
And they'll come out of the bye at 2-7.
Nice. Fuck yeah.
And I don't know, Chad.
Whatever gets us closer to that draft pick, that'd be great.
2-7. Honestly, where are we at here? This I want to know this from you. This is the last thing for the Browns.
Okay.
Do we just want them to lose the most amount of games?
Yes. Yep.
Because
don't give me some bullshit 5-12, 6-11 record.
Well, that's what it looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Tennessee coming up. They should slaughter them. I mean, honestly, this defense can win games. The Jets, they should murder the Jets. That's their next game. You've got you've got bad teams coming up on the schedule. Bad teams. And I have a bad feeling that there is some wins that are about, like, I got a bad feeling they're about to go like 4-1 in their next 5. I'm not going to pick it. I'm not going to pick it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to pick them to win a single other game. But I got a feeling they're going to win like 4 out of the next 5 games.
Yeah. It would be just them to put themselves out of position to take one of the top quarterbacks in the draft.
just Eric Mangini themselves right out of a good draft pick.
That'll piss me off so much. I hate this team. I hate this team, and I don't know why we spend so much time.
All right, Chad, before we get out of here, I want to do a couple quick hitters. Okay.
Yes.
We're going to switch switch topics. First quick hitter. There's 3 quick hitters. We're going to both do one. You're going to do one, and I'm going to do one.
All right.
The first one we'll both do, but I want to call myself a preemptive asshole of the week.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this World Series, man, because the Toronto Blue Jays are about to take a 3-2 series lead over the LA Dodgers. And last week when we were talking about this World Series, I said, I believe the quote I said was Dodgers in 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that's the quote. And that doesn't look like it's going to be the case. It looks like it's the top of the 8th inning right now. The Blue Jays are up. They got a runner on second base with 1 out. So they're up 5-1 in this game. They are 6 outs away from taking a 3-2 series lead in the World Series. This has been a great World Series.
This has been incredible World Series, dude.
It's been awesome. It's been awesome.
You had that performance by Yamamoto in Game 2, amazing. You had the blowout.
Yes.
The way the Blue Jays have gotten to Blake Snell, who's been the best pitcher in the postseason up to this point, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then, yes, I don't even know how you say his last name. Yesevich. Yeah, Yesevich. 14 strikeouts tonight against that lineup. But the Toronto Blue Jays are getting offense from everywhere too, and like some of the most unlikely candidates, right? The Toronto Guardians, like Jennifer just said, there. Ernie Clement's batting .383 in the World Series, right? Vladdy Guerrero, and then, then in Game 1 and Game 2, they've gotten offense from unlikely places, right? Dalton Varsho got the offense started in that first game, and then Isaiah Kiner, Filma Gabaja Bilamila. Is doing well too. So this was a deadly Toronto offense, and this Dodger team is in shock right now, and they just with as many wild pitches as they've had tonight to allow runners to advance, this Dodger team is on their heels, man. So what a great World Series.
But also even the games the Dodgers have won, the 18-inning game,
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I just want to.
I thought that would break Toronto, by the way.
I don't like to root for the Dodgers. I want them to lose. I'm going to be pumped if Toronto wins this World Series. I'm going to be pumped, thrilled if Toronto wins this World Series. But it's not going to ever stop me from recognizing that what we're watching with Shohei Ohtani is the greatest thing of all time.
Sure. Absolutely.
It is Babe Ruth. We're watching Babe Ruth. We're watching the thing we grew up talking about as a legend, the thing we grew up watching, the Sandlot and Babe Ruth and the Sultan of Swat and the Colossus of Clout and the Colossus of Clout. Babe Ruth, we're watching it with this dude.
Yeah.
That 18-inning game. What was he? He had 5 walks and was 4 for 4 in the game.
Yeah.
It's the most outrageous. Again, he had that performance in the NLCS where he had the pitching performance, 10 plus strikeouts, 6 shutout innings. And then what do you have? 3 homers in that game. That's one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah. He did everything.
Think about that game that 18-inning game and what he did in that game. Shohei Ohtani is the best. I'm giving it to him. I've said forever the best baseball player I've ever watched play is Barry Bonds. Shohei Ohtani is better than Barry Bonds.
Right.
I don't know that ultimately he will have the cumulative numbers that Barry Bonds had because he spent so much time playing in Japan and he only has so much time to play here.
Right.
But it's the best baseball player I've ever seen. And it's not close. It's not close.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thought Mike Trout was going by that way, and when he was healthy, it seemed like he was going that way. But Shohei is 5 levels above that. Yeah, unreal. And Miles Straw's up right now too.
he is. All I want is the Dodgers to lose baseball games. That's all I want. I want them to lose every game they play. But Shohei, I will never not appreciate this dude. This is, we're as Cleveland fans, we always kind of gave shit and we were like, appreciate LeBron James. Everybody should appreciate LeBron James because people like to talk shit about players they don't like. I feel like that is how it is with Ohtani. It's like everybody needs to just appreciate this because someday this guy's not going to be playing anymore, and you'll never see another thing like it. The last people that saw Babe Ruth play are all dead at this point, or they're 100. That's how it's going to be with Ohtani.
Yeah, 100%.
and people 100 years from now are going to be like Shohei Ohtani, Babe Ruth, same thing.
Yeah,
unbelievable. He's awesome.
Completely agree. Awesome. I don't have anything to add to that.
So we'll see what happens in this game as Miles Straw, just the hardest hit ball to second base, popped out. But it looks like the Blue Jays are about to take a 3-2 series lead going back to Toronto for game 6. Holy shit. But Chad, I'm going to give you a very quick hitter. I just want to give a rundown the last week since the last we talked when we had Dave Metzold on talking about the start of the year for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Tonight, as we've been talking, the Blue Jackets put a licking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. 6-3 wound up the final. It was 6-1 most of it. Toronto got 2 late goals, but give us a quick rundown of the last week of Columbus hockey.
Well, last time we talked to Mets, they were on their way to play Washington, and Washington just kicked the shit out of them.
Correct.
The Jackets didn't have any emotion in that game, right? They looked flat. It was kind of like the Colorado game. They looked flat. They didn't look prepared. They didn't have any legs. They didn't play with any sort of aggression. And they got their dicks kicked in. So, but what we talked about with Dave was, you're going to lose some games throughout the hockey season, right? And it's all about, is this going to become a pattern, or are you going to bounce back? And they bounced back in a big way, right? It didn't start out good in Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh took a 4-1 lead, but the Jackets fought all the way back and got in a wild back and forth game. And on the back of 3 beauty shootout goals.
Shootout goals.
In that game. They were able to get the win. They were able to get the extra point. And then they followed that up with a trip to Buffalo. And Buffalo is kind of like the Jackets, but not as far as young talent goes, but they're just a greasy, like grind it out, like get in the dirty areas type of team. And they did. 2 of those 3 goals were exactly that, right? They got into the dirty areas. They just kept chipping away, right? They just kept chipping away. And they eventually got a couple by Jet. But then, I mean, that game, the fourth line really stepped up, right? Yeah, I talked about this in my recap video. I think the Jackets might have found something with Chinakhov, right? He's not, we talked about with Dave, he's not a skilled player, he's a skilled player. But all this controversy with him in the offseason, right? Was he going to resign? Like, he fires his agent, and there was all this contract controversy. And he's got to be a better teammate. Is he going to be able to elevate his play? So Dean started him out with a healthy scratch to begin the year, but then he put him on the fourth line, and he's really jump started that line. And that was the case on the against Buffalo, right? He jump started the offense with a goal. He had a couple of assists on 2 of the other goals, right? That one he'd made to Miles Wood to tie the game up. The patience that he showed to and then flip that puck towards the net once traffic got in front, and Miles timing that deflection up perfectly to tie the game. I really think they found something. And then in that overtime period, they just made all the plays, right? Jet made a save on a breakaway opportunity for Buffalo. Ivan Provorov with a good stick, a good poke check right on a 2-on-1. And then Zach with a beautiful setup to Miles to win the game. And then tonight, the Jackets, have played really, really well against Toronto lately in the last couple of regular seasons, right? And tonight was no different. Yeah, Toronto is without Mitch Marner now, but they still have William Nylander. They still have Austin Matthews. They still have a bevy of weapons there, and they beat the shit out of them. They beat the shit
out of them.
It was 6-1, right? They got a couple of late goals, but I mean, it was never really that close. 6-1, and the Jackets showed why. Again, especially at home, they were one of the top 10 goal scoring teams in the NHL last year. Because this is a very talented Blue Jacket team that keeps developing, keeps progressing, and we're in for some more exciting hockey this year. So that was awesome to watch tonight.
Yeah, 100%. I love all that. I'm going to do one quick hitter, and then we're going to get out of here. I'm going to go to the Cavs. First week of the season in the books. When we talked last week, they were kind of just getting going. We talked to Tim Alcorn 2 weeks ago to kind of preview the season. Last week was the season opener while we were on the air against the Knicks. They lost that game, and they got destroyed while we were on the air tonight, 125-105 in Boston, in a game in which Boston, I think, shot like 1,000% from behind the arc, if I'm not mistaken. Well, it says only 36, but it felt like 1,000%. But Boston got after him. That's okay. The Cavaliers 3-2 on the year, and right now, the Cavaliers are doing something that I am okay with Kenny Atkinson. They are trying to play a brand of basketball and then get used to it, where they are running things through Evan Mobley. They are obviously letting Donovan Mitchell kind of run the offense. You obviously don't have Darius Garland. I think people are starting to see why that's a difficult thing for the Cavs. You have to have healthy Darius Garland to be good. And I think they're just trying to kind of feel their way into like what kind of push can they get from these guys. And in some games it's been great. After they lost their first game, they won 3 in a row, and they look great in all of those games. Donovan Mitchell has been awesome. Evan Mobley really aggressive to start the year. Tonight they got a punch in the mouth by Boston. It's hard to go to Boston and win, and I know they don't have Jason Tatum, but it's still a good roster, and frankly, it's still a roster that can shoot the lights out of the basketball. So I would have liked to see them go in and put up a little bit of a better effort, because they pretty much got blown out in this game in Boston all the way through. But first week of the Cavs, I don't mind. I don't mind that this team that won 60-plus games last year is kind of feeling their way into new processes this year. That, I think, is a symbol of a good coach, and I think Kenny Atkinson is that, of saying, we're not just going to do things the way that we've done them in the past and think that we're going to just magically get better. We're going to try to find better ways to do things. So hopefully when the rest of this season rolls around, and especially when the playoffs roll around, we are a team that's better suited to make a run at these other teams. And that's what I think good teams do. So I like the way the Cavs have started the year. I wish they looked better against Boston tonight, but I'm not going to be mad about it, because, again, we're in an 82-game season. You're without Darius Garland, who means a lot to this team. And frankly, you're without Max Strus, who I think he's going to be relegated to a bench role, but he's going to be the main bench guy, and he's going to mean a lot for the Cavaliers this season. So I think when they get Darius Garland and Max Strus back, and Sam Merrill didn't play in this game tonight, and he's been instrumental for the Cavaliers to start this year, both from his three-point shooting perspective and his defense. I think when they get Merrill out there, when they get Garland out there, when they get Strus out there, if they can stay healthy, I really love I like the way they're starting. For me, there's two guys that just have to get much better. Jared Allen has to get much better. He has to start playing like they expect Jared Allen to play. Big, strong, physical, defensive, rebounding. I don't really give a shit. If Jared Allen averages 8 points a game, I don't give a shit. If he's blocking shots and rebounding the basketball, I'm happy with it. So there's that. And then their big acquisition in the offseason was trading Isaac Okoro for Lonzo Ball. Lonzo's got to get his shit together. Lonzo is playing like he's on a new team. And it's kind of to be expected, but he's a little all over the place. He's a little hectic. He's a little fast. He's a little rushed. He's turning the ball over way too much. And he's taking weird shots. And that's not the Lonzo Ball that the Cavaliers need. They need a guy that's going to be good on defense, and he's going to be an extremely good distributor on offense. And I think they will work him into that. But he's not been great to start the year, so hopefully he can kind of get to that. So that's the start for the Cavaliers. Again, 3-2 after this loss to Boston tonight. Still a good start, and still a Cavaliers team that I think is going to win 60-plus games this year. And I think they're better suited for a deep run this year, so we'll see how it goes. All right, Chad, that's it.
That's it.
For Garage Beers tonight. You got a cheer of the week?
Shane Bieber, Andres Jimenez, Miles Straw. Go get that championship. Go get that
really
championship.
Cool. That'd be really cool.
That'd be awesome,
especially for Bieber. That'd be really cool
for sure.
I already gave my cheer. I was gonna give it to why am I losing my mind here? Well, I was gonna give. That's right. I was gonna give my cheer to Nick Mangold and his family, and just a devastating loss for the Buckeyes family, for the NFL family, really just for sports fans. Nick Mangold was a dude. He was a dude. And it's really sad to see that he has passed on. But, cheers to him. Cheers to everything he did. Cheers to his family. And just a really tough thing. So I was going to give him cheers just for that. And I know I did it earlier in the show, but I'll wrap it with that. So that's going to do it for episode 287. Our last order of business is to give out our thank yous. First thank you goes to our special guest tonight, Bryant Browning. That guy is one of the best. Bryant Browning, former offensive lineman for the Ohio State Buckeyes, now one of the hosts of the BLEAV in Buckeyes show. You got to make sure you catch it on the BLEAV network with him and Chimdi Chekwa. Bryant is one of the absolute best guests when it comes to talking Buckeyes, so it was great to have him. Big shout out to him. Shout out to the OBR for hosting us. Get over to the OBR.com and hit subscribe if you're not a part of it already. It is the best Cleveland Browns community in all of Cleveland. Plus, you get to hang out with us on Wednesday nights and talk about all of our other favorite sports. Well, really all of our favorite sports, plus the Browns, to be honest with you. And a big shout out to the OBR for hosting us. And finally, a big shout out to all of you. Whether you joined us live tonight, there were a lot of people in the comments tonight. So big shout out whether you're on YouTube, Twitch, wherever you were, or whether you're going to catch us later. Remember, if you can't catch our show live on Wednesday nights, you can always catch it on Apple, Spotify, or you can come back and watch it on YouTube, Twitch, wherever you want to watch it. So big shout out to you for everybody that joined us. That's going to do it for our show for episode 287. Joey couldn't make it tonight, but we're going to give him a shout out anyways. For Joey out in Seattle, for Chad over on the east side of Cleveland, I'm Michael Keefe. That'll do it for us. We'll see you next week for episode 288. Until then, cheers, everybody.